broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yeah! Hey there, AfterBuzzers. Welcome back to AfterBuzz TV's Ray Donovan Show. Are you feeling the power of love?
I know I am.
I feel it.
We're breaking down Season 3, Episode 2. Ding! My name is Isaac Johnson. Thanks for joining us. You can follow me on Twitter at Isaac Johnson. But I'm not alone, folks. I'm here again with Sean Overman.
Oh, that's right. You can follow me at Sean Austin O on Twitter and Instagram.
There you go. And Matt Lieberman also here.
Hello, hello. You can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman, Instagram, Matty Lieberman.
Yeah, and I don't remember if I just said it or not, but Isaac Johnson, did I just say that? Twitter?
Did you?
I think you did.
It's kind of hard to remember.
Isaac Johnson, and you can tweet at us if you're watching live. You can tweet at us using the hashtag ABTVRay.
Ray Donovan.
ABTV Ray Donovan.
Also, if you're hip to the YouTube, youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV, go ahead and subscribe to the channel.
Hashtag
like
ABTV.
this video if you're watching it.
ABTV Ray Donovan.
They can comment live, I believe.
You can comment live. You can also comment after the fact, and I will respond to you. These two will not, I believe.
I will not.
Yeah.
If my scheduling permits.
If scheduling permits. He's a very busy man.
Very busy.
Well, fellas, how did we feel about Ding?
I thought it was a great build on what was already a really, really solid finale.
Mm-hmm.
I am very, very anxious about what's going on in the whole Mickey side of things. I feel like he's moving way too fast with this enterprise of his.
It's kind of Mickey.
Yeah, but everything else is just classic Ray Donovan. Home life, self-destruction, aggression mixed in with flirtation, mixed in with danger and blood.
Yeah.
It was just wonderful.
And Ray's self-destructiveness, too.
Totally.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it? That's all you got, Sean?
Oh, yeah, and I'm amazed with, here, I'll give you this.
Okay.
I'm amazed with, how quickly Mickey is moving. Didn't you predict that would happen last time?
I knew he was going to run whores. That to me seemed obvious. But the fact that he's so quickly going from, maybe it's just because he's running out of money, I don't know, but to so quickly pawn his son's car as collateral to get $10K to start moving cocaine through the hookers, and it's like this massive enterprise. Daryl admits that it's a solid plan, but if I was Daryl, I would be way more freaked out that my aging father wants to set up a massive cocaine and hooker enterprise out of our damn condo.
Daryl got roped into this way too easily, which it's his character flaw. He just trusts his dad way too much, and even though he thinks his dad's an ass, he's like, okay, all right, fine, I'll go along with it.
Yeah, he wants love, man. I thought this was a cool episode. A lot of self-loathing. Loathing. I guess that's Ray's MO. A lot of issues with people punishing themselves or being punished. Mm-hmm. A lot of interesting stuff there. But let's
a lot of punches to the face.
A lot of punches to the face. Let's talk about some punches to the face. Let's talk about the Ding. Let's talk about Terry. Wow. Derry. That's
Daryl and Terry together.
Ding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about him, man. He's getting in the prison fight there. It seems like he has not lost the moves. He getting hit in the face a couple times there, and you saw him snap back into action. I was really excited to see that.
The Aryans don't know that he was a boxing star in Boston.
Which we had the question. Before he has the fight, they call him the Ding. I assume the Ding was like a boxing bell ding. But they called him that before he kind of showed them who he was, because they don't know that he's a fighter.
Yeah, I took it as a crack at his physical and mental health. I thought that it was them saying that he was mentally challenged or something.
Well, that's what I got, but I thought that's an interesting thing for guys in prison to be calling him a Ding.
And we actually looked it up beforehand.
Yeah, that's right, you looked it up.
I looked it up, yes. So apparently in prison slang, the Ding wing is where they keep the psychiatric prisoners So
That's right.
And so I guess because of his
With
physical,
his tremors,
his tremors, they take that as being, oh, he's crazy, because they're just going to lump everybody into one category.
Right, absolutely.
The very educated prisoners.
Yeah, I know, which is maybe not what you'd think of right away. With
Interesting bit of casting too. The head of the Aryan Nation was the albino on
from Banshee, yeah.
and I feel like he only plays like aggressive, very white prisoners.
But he was more tan here.
That's true.
Yeah,
he was
he did have a bit
tanned
of a
on
tan
purpose so that he could differentiate himself.
Now, in real life, is this guy an albino?
I have no idea.
I mean, they made him look so in Banshee. I mean, it was interesting. But I thought that, I was like, man, we've seen this guy. Oh, nope, I've seen this guy in Banshee, not on this show.
Yeah.
Interesting. But it seems like Ray's got a guy on the inside. He's got a prisoner in there checking out Terry, making sure.
And a guard.
And a guard. Well, that's what I mean. Sorry, a guard.
He's paying off the guard.
He's paid off a guard, and he comes to him with a box. What's in the box? Wanted to know what that was in there. Anybody? Thoughts?
I assumed it was medication. I assumed it was his injections for his muscles.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Oh.
Sean?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't think about it. I didn't notice that it was the guard holding it. When I saw it, I thought it was actually one of the prisoners, and I was like, oh, there's a shank in there. But I think I was way off now.
Yeah, well, you would hope that he would have used it in that second fight, man. Well, the first fight, I like seeing him drop the dude. Second fight, he goes out there like, we're going to do this. Let's make it happen. The guy kind of tries to get the better of him. I'm really impressed with how great of a fighter he is. I mean, yes, he was a great boxer, but he's very debilitated with his Parkinson's at this point. I was kind of like, man, he could really handle himself.
Well, that's like the really interesting dichotomy of him in these scenes is Terry looks awful.
Yes.
He looks awful.
That opening shot with him and sitting at the table with his like sort of lackeys or the guys that he's hanging out
and
with.
The shaking. It's
Yeah.
just really, really sad. So to have him still be able to have that agility is pretty incredible, but it's also just reminds you how dire his situation is. His meeting with the doctor puts the hammer on the nail even more effectively, which is that he's got Parkinson's disease.
Yeah.
Soon enough, he is not going to be able to walk. He's going to need a wheelchair. He's going to be in really bad shape. The man is dying. Like, I feel like that's something that never really hit me, even though I've had friends and people I know who have been touched by Parkinson's disease. It never really hit me how bad his situation is, and being in prison will make it that much worse.
It makes it worse. It escalates it probably because of all the stress and maybe the lack of access to medication as well.
Yeah.
And it just hit me too, the whole Ding thing. He's hanging out with this guy, and at the very first conversation that we see with him, the guy's like, hey, so what are we gonna do today, Terry? Are we gonna go out? Are we gonna ride? I'm gonna hang out with my girlfriend. That guy's a loon. So that makes sense. He's probably lumped into that category, and they're going to be hanging out with each other because they view him as being like physically incapable, and this guy's crazy. So they're all the Dings.
Sure, I took it a little more to mean that they were sort of like in that like, what are you going to do today? Like, oh, I'm going to go and have all my concubines, and I'm going to do all.
Like a fantasy.
And I'm going to go pick a coconut off my private tree and crack it open, drink it by the pool.
Another day in paradise.
I'll offer some to the Aryan Brotherhood.
Yeah, and then everyone will hug at the end of the day or something like that. I took it as a little more of that, but maybe that's it. It could be that, he's hanging out with some guys that aren't. It wasn't
his
a tough
roommate
gang.
Definitely is.
Well, yeah, his roommate's gone, which is why we opened to The Power of Love. What was that guy's audition like? That had to sing The Power of Love just over and over in a, crazy fashion.
I really hope that he didn't like slate or anything, that from the moment he walked through the door, he was just kind of humming it to himself. He brought out his own toothbrush and just started cleaning.
Yeah, I hope that he just kind of was just like humming it in the door. They ask him, hey, how's it going? And he just goes into song. That'd be lovely. Obviously, he did something right and got the job. And I had a thought. So the doctor says that Parkinson's will progress faster, which what you said makes sense. He doesn't have the medication. He's not able to get maybe I guess physical exercise. I don't know how. Combat Parkinson's. I'm not very knowledgeable on that subject.
It's a neurological disorder.
It is a neurological disorder.
If he's stressed more, which causes the breakdown of cell tissues quicker, it's probably going to be affecting his Parkinson's as well.
Yeah, I just didn't know if for a second there I was like, is he trying to do him a little bit of a solid, like, well, this is going to progress a little faster. Maybe you need to be in isolation just to kind of get him away from the main population.
He definitely would benefit getting away from the main population, but for Terry, he doesn't want to be in some hole. He doesn't want. He's already in a cage. He doesn't want to be in a cage inside of a cage. The thing that surprised me, and I understand why he would refuse it, both out of pride and to protect himself, and so that he wouldn't appear weak. But to get a cane, that's a free weapon. That's a free weapon,
True.
Terry. You need weapons in this place.
Well, he didn't need much. He found himself.
That's true. He is a living weapon.
10-pound weight there. And
He is like MMA style and just like improvising, getting whatever he can to fight, which is amazing too. He's just not sticking to his mitts.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine growing up in Dorchester there, they probably got into a few scuffles,
Sure.
a few fights. So he can handle himself. And then the boxing training probably only enhanced his ability there. But why? Okay, so he doesn't want to go into isolation. Is this just strictly a pride thing? I mean, Terry's a very prideful person. Is it just that, or is it, he kind of wants to be in prison because he feels like he deserves it. And in the previously on, he felt like he deserved to be in prison. But why not go into isolation and at least protect yourself?
Because if he deserves to be in prison, he deserves to be in prison. He doesn't deserve to have special treatment.
Okay.
He wants full punishment for his sins, and that means having to live amongst criminals because he is a criminal.
Yeah.
He's got no pity for himself.
Additionally, though, well, how about this? Contrarily, I feel like being put in isolation is going to exacerbate his Parkinson's even more, perhaps, in his condition, because that's even more stressful. I feel. Sure, you're protected from one aspect because you're not going to have the Aryan guys trying to kill you at every corner, but at the same time, it's just being cut off from that socialization. Even though it's a negative socialization, it's still bad to be isolated, right? People go crazy being isolated.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I guess we don't know how long his bid is to be in prison. I mean,
It's going to be
robbery.
worse. It's going to be worse now if you killed somebody.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
He's not dead. He's not dead. He's just damaged.
It was a bloody mess.
He's a living.
Who's the
bloody
ding?
mess.
Who's the ding? You're the ding, Terry.
Yeah.
You're the ding. We all agree that
Say
you're
uncle.
the ding. Yeah. Oh man. We'll save that for predictions whether or not we think the guy is dead or not.
All right.
But interesting. So Abby walks in on Conor, just being a young man. just being a young man. I mean,
I think that's the puberty alarm going off
let's
right
not beat around the bush, if I may.
Yeah.
He beat it into the bush.
Yeah. Conor, I said make your bed, not make it with your bed, I guess. Yeah, there you go. Gosh, what a horrible moment for him, man. I felt so bad.
It's his own fault for faking being sick from school just so that he could stay home and have sex with his bed. Listen, this is why people and beds should not be allowed to have relations. That's why we should keep them apart. Dogs and cats living together. It's just going to be a cultural nightmare
And
if we
I
allow
say
beds and people to get
equality
married.
for
And
all.
that's why you have to throw beds away. You divorce them every so many years.
Sure.
And you get a new one so this kind of thing doesn't happen because he got too comfortable with his mattress.
All right, Sean, I hope this is not your philosophy on marriage.
I really hope not. It's
Yeah,
really
well,
foul.
Connor, lock your door, man. At the very least, there's got to be a lock on that door.
I
He's
don't
got
know.
to stop doing it with his Dre Beats headphones on, and that's what blocked out his mom's voice.
Yeah, it did, but he's probably doing that so she doesn't hear all the noise. I assume that the noise is probably a part of his ritual there. It seemed.
Yeah.
But we still heard anyway. We still
She
heard.
still heard the moaning
there
sound.
was female moaning
Listen,
emanating from the Beats
Even
headphones.
if you've got headphones, those Beats headphones have such powerful bass drivers
That's true.
that you will be able to hear those moans from a mile away. So put it down on low, my friend.
Yeah, well, hopefully,
He's immersing himself in the moment.
yes, he was immersing himself in the moment. Just turn it down a little.
Put it down low, like how you feel right now that your mom caught you fucking a bed. Sorry about the F-bomb. I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry.
Well, that's what Abby said. She did say that.
Yeah.
So
And Ray and her had a nice moment, actually, chuckling about it over the phone.
They did. It was nice to see them kind of have a little bit of a laugh there. It seems like Abby is still really trying hard to get Ray back there. I'm still in the same point that you're on, Lieberman, where she's like, man, why does she want him back so bad? Yes, she had an infidelity as well. Ray has had several, probably since that period of time, and she knows about it. What is the reason? Why does she want him back so badly? It just seems like she's forgotten all about his past.
Because she doesn't have the strength on her own to rebuild their family.
Okay.
And she feels lonely and unloved because her kids don't love her because she messed up. Ray doesn't love her. This dog doesn't love her. This dog's just happy to not be on the freeway.
That dog might love her, man. He's a very lovable.
He probably
dog.
loves her, but he is just using her too, just like every dog needs a master.
Exactly.
Sure.
My point is, she has no sense of self-worth and she has nothing to validate her. You have to remember, like, the moment moment she sees Ray in their home, the first thing she does is she tries to reclaim him sexually. Like, we have to remember all the way back to last year when she used sex as a bargaining chip. She is immediately trying to bring him back into the fold using sex as a weapon. It's who she is. It's what she does.
Right.
Even subconsciously.
Well, she could be doing a better job at trying to bring the family together, though, too. I mean, Connor's half-assed excuse about, like, getting sick. Bridget goes to school. She just kind of walks in the kitchen almost comatose and is not taking care of business there. And then even when Ray doesn't show up for the dinner, she immediately goes to the dog. I mean,
She gives up.
Yeah. Could you at least spend the time with your children? If dad's not going to come home and there's no hope of that, doesn't mean you can't still try.
She doesn't have any hope anymore. There's nothing to hope for.
Okay.
She's
Sean?
just so down.
Their relationship is just a weird one. You know, it's really jumped around throughout the seasons.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is just another aspect, another perspective that the writers are exploring here with Ray and Abby's relationship. So it's just taken it's not so much of an interesting turn as it is. It's just like, oh, okay, well, this is something a little new and just whatever.
I mean, I don't mind the writing it this way. It's interesting to watch, but it's, you know, I kind of wanted to see her give a crap. I mean, you know, we talked about her all last season about her not really being the greatest mom, but give it a chance. You know, I do also like the crack back at Ray, or Ray crack back at her. Oh, what are you gonna do? Call the cops? I don't do that. That's what you do.
Ouch! Yeah, sick burn.
Burn.
Just a 3rd degree burn.
Yeah, I like 2nd degree.
Second alarm fire.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
What scale on the like hot scale at Buffalo Wild Wings is this?
It's the hot.
Yeah, that one.
That was the redhead Irish zinger.
I like it.
Yeah. But here's my question. If she's so unhappy and he's not coming home, why doesn't she just divorce the man?
Well,
Because she needs a provider. She needs Ray's
No job.
income. No job. She's just a housewife when you boil it down.
Child support.
Yeah.
Take
that's
half
true.
of all of it. Take half of everything he's worth in that divorce. I don't think he'll fight you on it.
yeah, well, probably not. But how much income is on the books?
That's right.
That's true.
So
it has to be on the books income.
Yeah, that's how some people get out of it. Didn't know anything about that person. Yeah, that's how it works.
But
as
she
far as I
doesn't.
know.
But she doesn't want to divorce him. Not only for that reason, but additionally because I'm from Boston and we don't divorce our husbands. Isn't that what you said last season?
Yeah, I'll take that. It just, you know, it's just almost to me a little bit inexplicable, like what the heck she's thinking. When, you know, like you said, the minute he's in there, she just kind of like tries to make things like they were. And
She's not thinking. At this point, she's been reduced to animal instincts, and they are not motherly instincts.
Right.
It is not trying to keep the family together, to keep the pack together. She is just like, she's in a deep state of depression.
she's just spinning out of control. I mean, she even gives the instead of having dinner with your children, you have dinner with the dog.
And the dog cannot eat people food. You are giving a dog sweet potatoes.
Yeah, well, I know they can't eat chocolate, but I think sweet potatoes might be fine. I don't
Well,
know. If you don't
that
like
sauce-
sweet potatoes, there's something wrong with
That
it.
sauce looked pretty chocolatey that was on the ribs.
Could have been chocolate based, like something like that.
Yeah, a mole sauce perhaps.
But that dog is so huge, I think you could give it horse tranquilizers and it wouldn't even get knocked
I
out. That
love
thing,
him. I want to know his name.
I love that dog. Yeah, why haven't they named it yet?
Ray Jr.
I almost thought for a second there like she was gonna have dinner and like call it Ray or something like that. I guess that probably would have been cheesy. Good thing I'm not writing the show, but I love that dog, man.
It's a good dog.
Big, lovable dog. I'm like looking at him while she's laying there in bed with him. I'm like, look at the size of this dog's head.
It's a good dog.
I mean, I don't know. I'm obsessed with like large dogs. I think it's really cool.
But the dog even recognizes that Ray is a dominant one when he comes in the house. He did not even bark at him. I thought he was growling, but that was actually Abby snoring.
Yeah, it was her snoring, which was fun to hear.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a quick little break to talk about iTunes.
I love iTunes.
Folks, if you go to iTunes and check out AFTERBUZZ TV, specifically our Ray Donovan show, please leave us a rating or review. It really helps out the show, helps keep the lights on, keeps this show running. AFTERBUZZ TV has over 100 hours of content every week for every TV show that's out there. If you like TV, you like talking about TV, like listening to guys talk about TV that you haven't maybe met in person before,
That's us.
This is the place to do it. And if you do, we'll give you a shout out on the show. We didn't have any new iTunes reviews coming up. I know sometimes it can be slow to update, but I believe, Sean, You're gonna shout some people out from the YouTube.
That's right, Isaac. So we got a bunch of YouTube comments, but I picked out a few of them. Kisslina, she said, welcome back, panel. I'm happy RD is back. That's Ray Donovan for you guys out there. So cool that Matt stated the underlying theme of this show being a study of masculinity. I described my interest in it to someone using that reference as a woman who always intuitively connects with the male character study. RD has had me hooked from the first episode. Looking forward to a great season with new storylines. All right. Thanks, Kisslina.
Thank you.
Marianne Kramer, she said, glad Ray Donovan AfterBuzz TV is back. Woot, 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 woot.
Yeah, we're glad it's back.
And I was looking forward Sunday, but found out that it wasn't airing until Monday. I love the hosts and the show. Great discussions, as always. I can't wait until next week's show.
That's today.
That's
this
today.
show.
We're here.
That's
You're
fantastic.
watching it right now.
And lastly, Brian Meister, he said, two of my favorite hosts from my favorite AfterBuzz TV podcast for my favorite show, Banshee, doing the AfterBuzz TV review for Ray Donovan. This makes me very pleased.
I hope that you wrote it with that much inflection. Great job, Sean.
Yes.
It had a lot of exclamation points and question marks.
Yeah.
You know,
Sean, when is your audition for the revival of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood? Just because I feel like you could be several of the voices of the puppets.
Oh my God, that's a great idea.
I don't know, but you gave me a great idea. Maybe I should start doing a vlog.
Maybe you should.
Yes.
Well, maybe you'll have to grind up something and put it in the pool to kill that old man so he can get his job.
Yeah, I could do that, but that wouldn't be very Mr. Rogers-y.
It would not be, but he is the next Navy SEAL. Let's not forget about this. Man, you're probably fine. So let's get back into the show. Let's talk about Ray. He's got some dealings going on with Carl. I recognize this scene here with Carl opening up there with him talking to Carl, burning some of his ex's clothes like you do.
That's right. You mentioned that when we were watching.
Yeah, interesting there. Carl did not seem happy that someone else is sleeping with his wife.
Especially not someone in his fantasy football team.
Ooh,
Nope.
It's a tough blow. I've met a couple guys on my fantasy football team, but none of them have slept with my wife.
That's a very good thing.
It's
And
a really
Carl,
great thing.
Carl looks like he could be on a football team.
Doesn't he? Yeah.
Or at the
Guy's
very least, he
massive.
could rip someone apart.
Yeah, well, he
He's
could.
a muscular man.
Or gut them like a fish and use them on a hook.
Man, I learned stuff today. I learned that shoes do not smell good when you burn them. That's what he said.
Yeah, they do.
It's all the fungus in them from
Yeah.
people's feet.
But like even long before that, he meets up with the younger Adamson, or no, Andrew Finney, the younger Finney.
Oh, Paige?
Paige Finney.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Okay, we're going to talk about Paige. I'm sorry, that just came before.
Don't worry about it, man.
Okay, I just want to make sure we talk about Paige.
We don't have to
Special
talk
guest
about it
star
in order,
Katie
man.
Holmes is
Hey, man, we're going to get to her. Maybe Ray's going to get to her.
Whoa!
But man, so Carl is sorry.
I'm sorry. It's impossible to resist doing it.
I know, it's so funny. It's good. I love it when you do it. Man, so I mean, obviously, Carl feels disrespected here. It's not like he talks about like what it wasn't necessarily like white privilege, but it was just like
Elite.
Rich people privilege.
Yeah, rich people privilege, which almost pretty much an indecent proposal there to offer money to sleep with your wife, and now they just want to offer him
$500,000.
That's it.
For shut up money.
Shut up, money.
I'm sorry. From what universe do you come that $500,000 is a laughable amount of money?
That was actually a dripping with sarcasm comment.
Well, I was going to ask Sean, what's your number? You seem like you have a number. I don't have a number personally.
If I was Carl and I knew they were willing to just offer me flat out $500,000 right away, I'd be like, how much do these guys actually have? And should I ask them for more?
No.
That's why he was mad. He was really mad because they undercut him.
The point is there's no amount of money to sleep with your betrothed. I don't think so. Not for me, anyway.
Yeah. I really, really appreciated this character. Somebody whose honor was unimpeachable.
Yeah.
And could not be bought. And reminded Ray that whoever he was and wherever he came from, he works for and effectively is now one of these people who will just pay money to make bad things go away, and that sometimes money can't wipe the slate clean. And I think it was an interesting counterpoint because these are both people who have been cuckolded by their wives.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they have that scene together in the car where Ray doesn't really divulge much, but he kind of touches on it a little bit. And I think it's important for Ray. Honestly, it's just important for the audience to know where Ray is at with this betrayal, because he's not going home because of it. But it also, I don't know that it bothers him more than it definitely doesn't bother him as much as it did last season.
Yeah.
He's had time. He's had several months to get over it. It's a fresh thing. It's interesting how he's trying to be like a guide for this guy in a way and offer him like a little bit of a tip here and there. But at the same time, it's like, this guy is obviously a very strong, loose cannon. So putting him in a dangerous situation, like, I don't know where I'm sending him, look what ended up happening.
Right. Well, there's something that when he's initially talking to Carl and he says, you know, I've been there before, but I thought, like, you've been cheated on. I mean, this is the same point with Abby, I guess, but you have been cheated on before, but you haven't been exactly where this guy has been. Nobody's offering you money to sleep with Abby. She stepped out because you weren't at home taking care of business.
But this isn't money to sleep with the wife. This is money for him to be okay with him continuing to sleep with the wife and to not show up and kill him.
What's the difference?
The difference is it's already happened. She's going to keep sleeping with this guy whether or not you take the money. You've already lost the woman. This is entirely about, are you going to let pride get in the way of you being able to restart your life doing something better? And I feel like that's why Ray is so intent on getting him to take this money, is like, listen, I don't have somebody reaching down and offering me an olive branch or offering me a way out or offering me something to make it any easier. This is someone offering you money to start a better life. Take it. Don't be a fool. Don't let pride get in the way the same way that my pride is getting in the way of me rebuilding my family.
Let's actually take a different perspective here, because even though, you know, we're talking about it, you know, like from those two different perspectives of what kind of money is it, it's actually not even either of those two.
What kind of money is it?
Paige was actually really using it to maneuver the pieces into play and let them do battle with each other so her client could end up succeeding. Her client was the second string quarterback. Right? So she wanted the first string quarterback to get hurt in some way or to get caught, arrested by the cops, whatever. Now he's out of the picture because he's got a severe injury. His arm's broken, right? His humerus is broken. So we have her client stepping up to...
The money never existed, really.
It didn't.
Until Ray manifested it.
Ray made it appear because he seems really concerned with taking care of this guy, or at least doing right by this guy. But, you know, we even said that when we were watching it as far as Paige. We're like, man, something doesn't smell right about this, about her going to Ray and all that sort of stuff. And then, gosh, it really feels like she's being set up. I guess at least Carl was... Maybe she probably didn't care if Carl killed him or not. Maybe that's why... I mean, it seemed like a clear setup. Hey, just hang down here with me for a second. I want to talk to you. Check out my car. Why would Ray care about that car, you know?
She totally distracted him. And she was braless, too, doing it.
Oh.
I didn't notice.
She was very braless.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, Sean. Now we know where your eyes drift.
She was distracting Ray in that manner, too. And that also leads me to they're probably going to sleep with each other at some point because of the antagonism.
We have been watching pay cable dramas for some time now. When you have a big name guest star who is an attractive woman, she will sleep with the lead at least once in the season. It is sad, but it is true. That is what will happen. It doesn't matter if their characters do have chemistry, which they do, in fact.
Yeah, well, 110% that's going to happen.
Explosive.
Yeah, explosive. Well, man, seeing him... you think she was excited by that confrontation in the bathroom?
Oh, by the throat around her neck? I mean, the hand around her throat? Yes, I would believe so.
Yeah.
A little bit excited but scared at the same time. Her hand was back into the stall shaking. I can see it.
Probably go hand in hand there, the excitement and the terror.
No one scares her like Ray. So, therefore, she's going to give it up to him.
Please never refer to it as giving it up. Oh, my goodness.
I feel like we're in an 80s movie now.
You are most certainly in an 80s movie.
I'll put you both in that category.
Yeah. So, I love how he set her straight.
Message received.
Yeah. But I want to also talk about this scene between him and Andrew Finney, where Andrew throws this contract at him and is like, I want to buy you and your whole company. Not just your company. I want to buy you and your services.
Right.
And I wonder how this played out in Ray's head, having just spoken to Carl, who talked about how the rich just buy up their
Yeah.
problems and throw money at something till it goes away.
He saw the parallels.
You got to think that's directly related. It has to be, because there's no way that he. I mean, yes, he is a man of principle as well.
Yeah.
And I would actually say that Carl's neglectance to take the deal too is more a matter of principle than pride, or maybe pride to not let go of your marriage that's over. I mean, you go up to a hotel room and see that she's still doing it. She doesn't care.
And she looks great.
She did.
She looks great.
Sure,
Sorry, continue.
I wasn't paying attention to that detail.
She looks great.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Mrs. Johnson is very lucky.
I just it's
You
like
don't
blinders.
look,
Yeah,
you're a good man.
can't even tell anymore.
She looked great.
It's because I'm dead inside, fellas. Yeah, man. Well, I did. What was the line to Paige that where she's like, when he's in the restroom with her and he says well, I can just tell your father or whatever, and like he knows that she doesn't want him to do that. But then also Finney is sort of like just like talking about how she's kind of a disappointment and like, well, I need somebody.
Both his kids are disappointments.
Yeah, well, big time. But like, I kind of need someone to look after them. But he kind of like lets him know some. I can't remember exactly what it was, but some sort of insight about her that just kind of seems like.
Hey, I feel
kids.
as far as I recall, all of the insight that he gave him was just that she does things her own way, and that she always has
Since she was young.
and that's just who she is. The thing that was most striking to me was when Ray threw this deal in his face. His response was, "Okay, so we're still negotiating," and I have to wonder if it's not a money amount. What is the next tactic that Andrew Finney will take to claim ownership of Ray Donovan's soul?
It'll be very interesting. So a little Faustian deal there,
Yes. Yes,
maybe?
Isaac.
Yeah, man. I picked it up.
Maybe Varric Strauss, the henchman for Mr. Finney, may come into play at some point.
I don't know.
Yeah, no.
But he just met with the governor, and the governor sure looked happy. The only a politician who looks happy is one who just met with the devil, and the devil told him he's going to be president one day.
Interesting, yeah. I could see that happening.
Or that he's going to make $1 billion.
Yeah. Is there a dollar amount for Ray though?
No.
No.
No, not unless he's put into some kind of serious financial bind that even Ray Donovan can't get out of.
Sure.
Like we had last season where he was trying to give his wife the dream home.
Yeah.
But we haven't encountered anything like that this season yet. And if we went down that road again, I would feel kind of like, oh, they're doing this, playing this card again.
But then on the other side of the Ray coin,
We got with Lena.
we have Lena,
Lena.
who's being courted by Avi to go join the Lee Trexler firm and be a partner.
It's a pretty good deal.
It's a pretty great deal. You get
pretty great
sparkling or flat water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's,
You don't always get the choice.
Yeah, well, especially not in California.
Certainly not. We've got a drought.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Ray encourages her to take that deal because he can't make her a partner right now because he's too messed up. To which she says, "Why can't you ever ask me for help, you dingbat?"
She didn't call him a dingbat.
I did.
You did. But Ray can't ask for anyone's help.
Why?
That's what I want to know.
I think it's because he feels like he can't be a man if he has to ask for someone's help. He has to be able to take it on all by himself because that's what he did when he was taking care of his family way back when. It couldn't save his sister.
Yeah.
And I
man.
feel, maybe that's part of it, is like, I wasn't strong enough to save her. I am strong enough to save everybody else. I don't need anyone's help to do it.
Ray wants to take care of everybody. He views his family as like, okay, I gotta provide for them. Even if I'm not gonna be there, I'm still gonna take care of them in some way. Therefore, I can't divorce my wife. I can't leave her, right? And then we got him and his work family. He's got Lena there. He's got Avi, even though he's disassociating himself with Avi right now. And Lena to a smaller extent, just because, like he wants to take care of everybody. He wants to be able to pay everybody's way, but at the same time, he doesn't want to ask for more money to do it, which is weird.
Yeah, he's a very burdened man. Yeah.
And he likes to. He's torturing himself. He let Carl hit him in the face how many times? Right?
3 times, just numb, just completely numb.
He just wants everybody to accept what he's doing, but people are resisting him, and Ray doesn't like that.
And maybe similarly to like Terry, he feels like he deserves the punishment, man. Carl's hitting him pretty hard, man.
Yeah. That Catholic guilt, man, it's a trip.
Yeah, those punches were tough. So let's talk about Mick. Whores and coke.
Mick
Whores
is
and coke.
certifiable. This is the dumbest, albeit well thought out plan I've ever heard of. Why on earth would you get yourself in deep with crazy levels of criminal charges. Like not just prostitution, not just racketeering, but like drug dealing on a huge scale. Starting small, but ultimately huge.
Just like the prostitute said, he is living in 1979 with his ideas. And he's like, wait, you guys have this whole internet forum board or the site?
He can't believe it.
And he doesn't even want to run it. It's easier than what he's trying to do, and he doesn't want to do it.
Why wouldn't Firouzah Balk talk to him about this before this meeting? It's the
he wouldn't listen.
You only get one opportunity to make a first impression with prostitutes. Only one.
It seemed like he made his impression last episode.
Well, that's true. He bought the grill. He bought the
maybe she blew
Kalamazoo.
Well, no, he's just he wouldn't listen, dude. I mean, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's who he is. They burned through all that money so fast, and now they're in a pinch. You know, Daryl bought a $70,000 car, which is dumb.
At least we know.
He's a chauffeur.
At least we know that
$70,000 for a car, though. Still. I mean, if we thought they made about $100,000 or so, you blew 70% potentially of your load there
on your income, on your source of income.
Yeah,
and he feels like crap whenever he comes home from work. He's like, "Dad, I'm tired. I don't want to do any more work.
Come on, I'll give you a coffee and a donut."
Yeah,
he sounds like he's talking to a kid.
But that's his response to everything. He's like, but he's cooked up this plan. Actually, like we were saying, I don't think it was like a bad plan. In fact, even Daryl gives that to him. But why is Daryl still placating this guy? I mean. You know, you were asking the question at the top of the show, like, come on, Daryl, you got to be better than this. You are better than this, man. Like, why don't you just cut ties with him? He does let himself get kind of strong-armed into this car thing. He didn't know, which that's part of Mickey's sort of half-brilliant, half-crazy planning. And, you know, at this point, well, now these guys got the deed to your car, so you're going to take 20%.
And who are these guys, by the way? Russians? Armenians?
I don't know if that matters, I guess, but...
Just interesting to see the dynamics of the different type of gangs and criminality here in LA.
Yeah, just interesting, but like, I guess we'll see if it works out or whatever. Even Audrey blows her audition, although maybe she's not that good of a Shirley Temple. Who knows? Her song was good.
Possible, but also Mickey made it nigh impossible for her to do well at that audition by dragging her around and not helping her focus all day. You talk about dogs not being able to learn new tricks. He wants to be like a good father figure to this kid, but he is just as selfish and screwed up as the last time he was parenting kids.
It's a
pirating kids.
It's a cyclical thing. He's doing the same mistakes that he did with Ray and his brothers Bunchy and Terry, as he did with Daryl, and then as now he's doing with Audrey, right? And he's done with Conor in the past as well. Yep. With the explosion last seison and all that stuff.
I like that Daryl figures it out. Did you kill Gary? Well, technically the water, you know, and all that stuff is what happened. I was like, nah, that's not a no, Mickey.
Yeah, and it didn't really shake Daryl at all, actually.
Should it be surprising, though?
Well, not necessarily surprising, but you could at least be a little bit like shocked or like, I can't believe you killed someone.
I don't know. If Mickey's my dad, I'm not surprised.
This is how bad Mickey is. He used the same line on the prostitutes as he did with Audrey, and it didn't work both times. When God closes a door, he opens a window.
Yeah, sometimes when God also crushes up pills and puts them in a man's burger, you push him into the pool. That's opening a door as well, I guess. I don't know.
It's opening a window to prostitution.
Yeah,
and drug running.
And drug running. What, would the prostitution just not be enough? Which, by the way, I'll give you 40%, and they're like, yeah, we're out of here.
I'll only take 40%.
I'll only take 40%, right?
Well, what a gem of a human being.
Daryl took 20%.
Daryl was in a bind, though, man. He's got his car belongs to those dudes.
Yeah, I'll tell you what my father told me. Fuck you, you're only getting 20%. That was the line of the episode.
The last one.
It was a pretty good line. Oh, man. Also, I'm land rich and cash poor.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
well, it also further explained their financial situation, is that he spent all of his money on this crappy condo.
Yeah.
But at least we know he owns the condo.
I guess so. I guess that's where all his money went. That and the Kalamazoo.
There was no reason to buy that condo.
No.
Mistake.
No, well, big mistake. But that's Mickey, man. So let's get into Bunchy before we wrap here. Bunchy and Conor, two peas and probably a very sticky pot, it seems like at this point in time. He likes being bossed around by the luchadora there.
Luchadora.
The Black Widow.
Yeah, and it seems like she's, I wouldn't Bunchy's definitely not the dominant. She is the dominant, and she figures that out real quick. Almost stop for a minute there. Yeah, Mick, you go in there and you tell them their credit card didn't work and tell them to get the heck out of town. Unless you're hot enough, and well, maybe we can work out a payment plan or something. Yeah. Which do you think that she thought when he said maybe we can work something out? That he was thinking like, well, maybe we can work something out.
I think she was thinking that. I don't think that ever crossed his mind. Yeah. I don't think that she was thinking that that's what he thought. Although she definitely, it flickered across her brain, and she likes toying with this guy. She realizes that he likes her. And she's going to boss him around because it's fun.
Bunchy is a very confused young man.
He's a nice little boy.
Not so young man.
He's naive. He's naive. That's his thing.
He doesn't realize what's happening. He's getting bossed around. He's getting hoodwinked into something. And who knows how much money these guys are really going to make at their events that they're going to have at the boxing club.
And it costs $20,000 to put on?
No, they're supposed to make $20,000.
No, it costs $20,000.
It costs $20,000. So they can turn it into $60,000. I'm like, that seems like a lot of money.
He's just a mark, man. They know he's a mark. That's why they haven't been paying in this gym for this long, and that's why she saw him as a mark too. I kind of hope maybe she's a little bit interested in him.
I hope at least she feels bad after they totally rip him off and ruin him.
That's what they're gonna do, man.
I hope Bunchy gets some out of this. He deserves it.
It'll be on her terms if he does.
Now, what would you call, like, if you had to guess, what would you call the look on his face while he was furiously masturbating in the shadows? Would you call that shame or glee or I don't know what I'm doing or what?
Yeah, I'd go with C.
C?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
it seems like he's confused. He's doing what comes natural, but then with the whole snapper thing and then his issues that he had last season with the kid, right? He doesn't know what to do. He's never had a real relationship with a woman.
I'll tell you what I think it is. I think that remember last season, he was very worried that he was going to do something wrong with a child. I think it was glee that he was excited that, oh my gosh, at least I'm getting off to a lady.
Oh,
there's nothing wrong.
Right, because he was having trouble getting in that area.
Yeah, well, with Patty, I think, from last season, that didn't happen, or he was really scared about that, and he wasn't ready. And this is probably the first sexual act that he's had in regards to a woman. So sexual anorexic. This is solo.
So we know now he needs an S&M relationship. He can't be the dominant. He's got to be the submissive. Yeah. And Luchadora, Black Widow, is going to be telling him what to do.
That's very interesting. I wonder, because you also have... So Ray and Bunch were both molested by the same priest. Yeah. And the molestation turned Ray into an uber dominant,
uber masculine guy,
yeah.
And
uber Ray.
And then Bunch is this very submissive, naive, sweet kind of person that needs direction. So it's a very interesting dichotomy that the same act could spawn two very different men.
And then Terry's like, I guess, somewhere in the middle. He's more of a dominant, though.
Well, he fought him off. Terry was never raped.
True. Yeah,
Terry fought him off, which also explains why he isn't going to let anyone protect him or take it easy. Yeah. He still is that same fighter.
Yeah, well, let's we're almost out of time here, but let's talk about Father Romero, who's back posing.
Undercover Father.
Undercover Father.
This fall on NBC.
Yeah.
Father Romero goes undercover into the SNAP unit. Yeah. The SNAP group.
Now, am I wrong? Or Ray has seen Romero before, right? He saw him in the first episode, I feel like.
Did he?
No, he wasn't anywhere.
He never clapped eyes on him?
I don't think he was anywhere near Ezra when he died, and that's the only place that he was other than...
No, because Romero was spying on the funeral, if I recall.
That's right.
He saw him standing.
Was he?
He saw him standing there, and then he saw him sitting at Snap.
You would think that, I mean, maybe there's so much going on with him, he didn't put it together, but you would think that would spring him into like, what's this guy doing? He usually doesn't really miss
Did
much.
He do a double take though when he walked in? Well, you know what? He had his back to Ray the whole time because he was sitting down, he was facing the inside of the circle, and Ray walked behind him to do the money drop for his dirty money.
Yeah, well, who knows, man? But Father Romero's back. He seems to be marking Bunchy there. He probably the same thing like the luchadors do. They see him as a way in there.
Only he's using him for intel.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. And so he drops him a little money, joins the gym. Maybe he's going to get some fitness in while he... I wonder what his real plan is. I really do. Anyway, folks, let's drop a little news and gossip before we get out of here.
Welcome
Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network.
Oh,
Ooh, hello, Popcorn Talk. How are you
Goodbye,
doing
Popcorn
today?
Talk.
AfterBuzz TV.
That's what we wanted.
Kablamo.
that is what we want. Emmy nominations are out, and our very own Liev Schreiber has been nominated for Outstanding Leading Actor in a Drama. Very well deserved.
Boom.
Bravo, Liev.
Loving it. He's up against John Hamm and a few other gentlemen. It's going to be a tough race.
Bob Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk as well. Of
course.
Kyle Chandler for Bloodline. Very happy to see that show nominated.
Yeah, very cool stuff. We're pulling for him. Although it may be John Hamm's year. It was the last year of Mad Men.
And he was spectacular.
Yeah, well, he was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's been great for 7 seasons. He's just been operating in the Cranston era. Wah, wah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's hit some predictions before we get out of here.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
Sean Overman, what do you got?
I got a very couple of simple ones, and since I'm going first, I'm gonna beat you guys to it. I think Terry is gonna die next time. Eek. It could happen.
Okay.
Those Aryans, they really want him, even though he's in isolation. He's got to have some kind of time where he gets out of his cell. It looks like from the teaser trailer that they threw out at the end of the episode, the Aryans are right there in his face still, even though he was in isolation. And then I feel like Mickey, this season, I don't know when, but Mickey is going to get Daryl arrested this time.
Okay, Matt?
I don't think Terry dies behind bars. I feel like they would never end his character arc so unceremoniously. I also don't know what that would do for everyone else's storylines. I don't think that it would necessarily add anything of note. So he has to get back on the outside before he would bite it. I think that that he's making a huge mistake getting into this level of business. These Russian or Armenian gangsters are going to turn violent at some point this season.
Absolutely.
Andrew Finney is going to get more and more creative and devious as we come to discover that he is effectively the devil. And he's going to do something involving Ray's family to get him to sign that contract. Whether it is doing very kind things for his kids or doing something to his wife, I'm not entirely sure. It won't be a threat, but whatever it is will be important enough to Ray that he will sign that contract. Let's see. It is episode 2. We have a 12-episode season. So Ray and what is Katie Holmes' character?
Paige.
Ray and Paige will have sex for the first time in episode, I want to say 5.
Okay, well, I'm somewhere in between the two of you as far as what's going to happen with Terry. He definitely, in the coming episode, it seems like he's ready to die. He's like Biggie there. Still sticking with Paige and Ray hooking up next episode. It's going to be fast. It will not be long, as Ray does not usually last too long in the bedroom.
As we saw last week.
Yeah, last week and last season as well. He likes to get things done quickly, and we will quickly get out of here. That is the power of love and the power of our show. I don't know if that made any sense. Probably didn't. Matt Lieberman, where can people find you?
You can find me on SourceFed and SourceFed Nerd on YouTube and Facebook. You can also find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman, MattLieberman, YouTube.com/Matt Lieberman.
Yeah, man.
And
Sean.
you guys can find me at Sean Austin O on Twitter and Instagram. Be sure to check out my Indiegogo campaign for City of Angels and Discontent. That is my novel that I expect to release in August.
Yes, man. And you can follow me at Isaac Johnson on Twitter, The Isaac Johnson on Instagram, and The Isaac Johnson on YouTube. Thanks so much, folks. We will see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.